Hi there, YouTube. This is the Magnus, bringing you another Total War Warhammer online ladder battle. Today, my opponent chose to play as Chaos, so I brought the Vampire Counts. New build I was trying out here. I alternated Skeleton Warriors and Skeleton Spearmen. Basically, I have 4 of the Warriors, 3 of the Spearmen, 1 on each flank, 1 in the center. Behind that, I have 2 Carnwraiths out on the flanks. I have 2 Graveguard with great weapons, and in the center I have Crypt Horrors. And then I also brought the Unholy Lodestone Corpse Cart, 2 White Kings, 1 on each side. I brought a Mortis Engine and Vlad Pappy von Karstein. Let's take a look and see what my opponent did. A more traditional build with the inclusion of the new aspiring champions that everybody seems to dig. So out on the flank here he has Marauders and just regular Marauders and Warriors with great weapons. He does the same thing on the other side. And then his front line is comprised of Halberds. There's 4 of them. And then behind them he has the 3 aspiring champions. And in the rear he has another Chaos Warrior with great weapons, 1 unit of Dragon Ogres, and he brought Archaon, the Ever-Chosen, and he's looking nifty as ever. So let's see how things develop. Now, no missiles, no artillery. This is going to be a straight up clash, so I'm going to push across the field. In the meantime, my opponent looks like he's going to make a play for the hill here, which, it's okay, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you don't have missiles or artillery. I don't either. There's no reason for either of us to go up a hill to chase the other one, but it's not horrible, and given the name of my opponent, I suppose he can get away with anything he wants. So I'm just going to fast forward while we close in here. Basically, in this type of a matchup, what I really like to try to focus on is, one, is keeping hero units and my Lord and stuff like the Mortis Engine, your most important pieces, making sure I keep them as safe as I can, and I'm using them to apply pressure in the best places that I can. The other thing I try to really focus on is getting good counters. So for example, trying to get my Graveguard with great weapons on his Halberds, for example, because they have a lot of armor. So even though a simple, mostly infantry, or in this case just about all infantry except for the Dragon Ogres, in this kind of a clash, it may look simplistic, and it is in a lot of ways, but there's also a lot of planning as far as your targeting, shifting things around. Where are you going to try to punch a hole through his line? You can go for punching a hole in the center or somewhere else where you perceive weakness, or you can try to roll him up by overloading one side. Don't take it as just let's mash our infantry together and see what happens. I think that's a mistake I see a lot of newer players make. And the other important thing is to make sure, if you don't have some sort of charge defense, make sure you get a counter charge on everything that comes at you. You don't want to get caught literally with your pants down. Another thing I like to do is take something like the White Kings and put them out front just a little bit, not way ahead of my line, but that way they eat any counter charge. And then when my guys come in, they're going to get a charge, but they're not going to get counter charge. So for example, these Carnwraiths are going to come in and get a nice charge, and they're not counter charged at all. So you're going to see he takes a decent bit of damage and leadership there right out the gate. Little things like that are exactly how these battles are won. The other way is just composition. So the things I talked about in composition are what's going to get you. So my Crypt Horrors, I don't know what happened to them there. I'm guessing the Halberds were getting them. I thought I had them on the aspiring champions, which I think I did, but he must have microed better than me on that one. The other thing that's going to be a bit of a worry here is he really goes after my Mortis Engine, which is a smart choice on his part, but I've got to do everything I can to keep that as safe as I can. Now, I'm a little overloaded on the right here, but he brings in Archaon, and that's going to definitely counterbalance that. So it's going to be interesting to see how that develops. The center is pretty even up, and on the left, I'm slightly overloaded because he has this Chaos Warrior with great weapon, and the way I, put that White King out in front of my Carnwraiths really helped me out, and that's going to allow me to start to do a wrap in here. Now, my Mortis engine gets stuck, and I'd been trying to pull it back forever. So I figured, why pull it back when I can pull it ahead? And timely use and in the proper location, the use of Invocation in the Heck can literally win you a battle. And I'm going to be using it to keep the Mortis engine going, which is going to help me out a lot. You're going to see I start to have a pretty considerable breakout here on the left. His infantry starts to break down. On the right, I'm hurting, but I'm still holding, and the White King, I've used the potion, but he's kept Archaon busy for far too long, which is what I want him to do. You're going to see there, he casts Cascading Fire Cloak, definitely a very powerful ability, especially against the vampires. The Flaming Sword of Ruin is great, but it doesn't look like he cast that. Now I'm going to pull everybody to the center because Invocation the Hex is going to come down, and I want everybody to get a piece of it. And also I want him to think I'm just worried about his Dragon Ogres. So of course he's going to see me pulling towards the Dragon Ogres, which I am, and he's going to give chase with everything he has. So now Archaon's in here, and he's the one I'm actually after. So a bit of a feint there. We're going to come in, just start beating on Archaon, try to get rid of him. He's already had a considerable amount of units flee, and they've taken a lot of damage. So, you know, spiking Archaon's going to definitely get me what I need. You see the Invocation in the Heck. He thought I was weak. I didn't cast it for quite some time, which was a little bit dangerous, to be honest. But, you know, a lot of people won't notice if you don't use a spell, but you have it, not have the time or take the time to look at what spells you have. So I don't think he thought I had in the Heck, which would be, you know, bad play on my part. But I threw it down, you know, at that critical moment where I needed that last thrust, and I wanted him to think I was weak when I was really strong, and I end up with a close victory. So let's take a look at the tail of the tape. The skeletons with the spears did pretty well. These guys are just meat shields. Let's not lie about that. The skeleton warriors are not going to get you a lot of kills. Karn Race did well. The Graveguard with great weapons did well. My Crypt Horrors got out in front. That was just bad micro, and they got butchered for it. The Mortis engine, not a lot of kills, but that's not really what it's there for. And Pappy von Karstein, you know, look at him. He's unscathed. I mean, sure, who needs a nose when you're that big of a badass? Taking a look at my opponent's army, you know, at first blush, you'd think he'd won with how many kills he has and everything. But that, you know, against the vampires, the rules are completely different because those bastards come back to life. So his Chaos Marauders did fantastic. I don't think I've ever seen a Marauder kill 100 people before. Aspiring Champions did well. The Chaos Warriors with great weapons did not do... This one did really well, but these two not. Probably a targeting issue. Halberds did fine, and the Dragon Ogres killed 66, but at a whopping 1,800, I don't think they were worth it, especially considering I didn't have a whole lot of large on the field. But good game to whoever this might be. I definitely enjoyed it. As far as advice, when you're going up against the vampires, you really need to be using, and I don't know if he did, I didn't notice it, but use that ruin as much as you can. That fire damage is what you need. The Aspiring Champions do magical, which is going to help you out with the ethereal units. But the other thing I would do is just try to bring something a little more creative. If you just want to, you know, go infantry against the vampires, it's almost never going to work out for Chaos. The vampires are a much stronger faction overall, as much as I do love Chaos. So anyways, if you enjoyed the battle, you learned something, please hit that like button, please hit subscribe. Until the next time, this is the Magnus, and I'll see you on the ladder.